Councilor Marcus?
Here.
Mayor Swanson?
Here, reports from department heads. We don't have anyone from Public Works. The Fire Department will be discussing their contract with the ambulance. Engineering, John,
Just a couple quick updates.
okay.
We do have the bids next week for the Seville Alley project, so we'll be bringing those results back at the first meeting in September.
Okay.
I just want to update you on the capital improvement plan. Kind of got through all the televising reports that,
Right,
that Norm gave us,
Right.
almost a month ago, so I gotta catch up with Ryan and get some budget numbers and finalize some cost estimates, but, I think we'd be ready to, I don't know if we want to go back to the Public Utilities Commission or present it at the council meeting, but I think we'd be ready probably middle of September sometime with the final report on that.
okay.
I'll work with Ryan and can.
Were there some surprises for you or no?
Well, from the television report,
Yeah.
no, not really. I mean, I kinda concur what Norm kinda came up with, nothing real,
No big surprise?
no big surprising.
Yeah,
And there's a couple manholes that were leaking that, but for the most part, it was,
okay.
but it's good information to have, and I know Trent's even had some sewer issues this summer, and he called and we were able to get him the report so he could figure out where the
Sure,
services were, so I think hopefully that helped. I know there's one up on Hannah location that was, that's real bad line, and I think somebody was having a sewer issue up there, but.
yeah.
And just the last thing is we have a few punch list items left on a trailer court project, so, we did the driveway and I haven't heard anything back from the gentleman on France, so I think,
He's okay?
Yep, he's good.
Good,
so,
all right.
okay, thank you.
Very good, thank you. Attorney,
Just what's on the agenda, Mayor.
all right. Long-range planning and zoning,
October, I think.
okay.
Yeah.
Recreation board?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow.
Well, the national night out that you had was right after our last council meeting, and went up there and it sounded like it was really well attended. We got there a little bit late and there were still a lot of people and music, and
It was
a
seemed like
very
it was-
nice event. Yeah,
And then Beach Blast is coming up this weekend, Saturday.
okay. Do you know what time that is? Does it start at
11?
11 to 2.
11 to 2? Okay.
Be serving hot dogs and stuff.
Playing games?
Yeah.
Very good. Library board, you'll have the minutes in your next packet, I guess. Nothing really much to report there. Chili cook-off coming this fall with the fall events. We're waiting to get a bid estimate on our new dome over the ceiling over there, the library, yeah. So that's about it over there though. BETA meets at the end of the month, and if we don't have anything going on, we may just hold off on that meeting until next month unless something important comes up. There's a conflict. So, sheriff's report we have in our packet tonight, and it looks like there was a total of 75 calls altogether for July. Clerk's report?
Just that you have that additional info in front of you, the updated lease and asset purchase agreements, as well as some quotes from Trent. There's been a couple school showings in the last couple weeks. Groups are semi-interested and just kind of waiting to hear back from them. Primary elections went well. I believe we had 185 vote here in town and 11 absentee.
Is that plus 11 absentees?
Plus 11
Wow,
absentees.
that's not bad.
How many did you have on your Saturday? You stayed here.
My Saturday had 3. So
But they were mandated to be here, so.
that's wrapped up, and then obviously moving forward to the general election, we're still busy with different things we have to complete with that. So, and then obviously grants and applications and getting everything in line for those.
Very good, okay. Thank you, Ryan. And the sewer district, do you have anything to report?
We haven't had a meeting since,
Before
We
our
had one
last?
in October, I think.
we
Yeah,
had
the last report
Okay.
was
the
in the
most-
minutes of the
Okay.
last meeting.
Right. All right, additions to the agenda? Are we adding anything? No, this is just information
Yep.
for what's ever already on here, okay. Consent agenda, minutes?
I'll make a motion, we approve the regular minutes of August 7th, 2018.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Claims?
I make a motion to pay the claims of $93,561.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? There was one thing that I had questioned on there, and it was that the full 5,000 went to the senior center, but they had approached saying that they will get the grant money from the for the AEOA once the installation has taken place, and then they will reimburse the city for those monies. So they're not going to need the total amount that we were allowing them up to, so. With that, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Business. First item is Meds 1 ambulance discussion. Okay.
Just on a quick outline of what the agreement, what's entailed in there is, we're renting a building.
The big picture is the asset purchase. Remember, we had the inventory. We're using that as the assets that are being purchased. That'll be like exhibit attached to the asset purchase. The big picture is that Meds 1 is coming in. We plan to have final documents for the council to sign. Jim and Suzanne Ducharme will be here. They'll sign and have the check on the September 4th meeting, but the actual transfer, the takeover will be September 10th, and he's going to be coordinating with that. I think he said next week he's going to meet with the guys and gals over at the ambulance service to get the schedule for September 10th going forward. So that's the big picture on the asset agreement. Also, there were other things that we had in there. We indicated a right of first refusal, that if for some reason it doesn't work out, that the city of Buhl would be able to have right of first refusal, which would be negotiated, if he had new ambulances or things like that, that would, affect the price, but he's not looking to make a profit if it doesn't work out, just get it back to Buhl kind of where they were. And of course, we're hoping they have success because, to try to staff it, really don't have the personnel to do that, it appears, is what's led to City of Buhl with the sale of the assets. And then we also included in there, and I'm having Clerk Ryan check to make sure, and with the ambulance thing, that we've got what they wanted in it. But some of the additional terms were the free standby for all public events within the Buhl primary service area, schedule combined training with fire department, EMS a couple times a year to be determined by Buhl fire chief, provide continuing education to all fire department members required to keep up credentials for EMS, EMT, or paramedic for free, provide coverage for the Buhl primary service area as required by EMSBR rules, chapter 469-90 and Minnesota statute chapter 144E, continuing education for all Buhl Fire Department members shall be one night per month. And then the other thing was that's kind of the asset purchase agreement. So whatever's on the list, 100,000, and they're agreeing to do that starting September 10th with so everything gets signed on the September 4th, and the money would come to the city of Buhl at that time.
Sure.
The second part of it was then the lease agreement, and that was we had $800 a month, and then there was discussion, about we looked at the utilities, and what else was there? Was there gas?
No, the real estate tax.
Real estate taxes. And so we came up with a monthly amount, and still working on the kind of real estate taxes, because you're moving from, a public entity to a private. So the share, if it's 50%, usually could be real estate taxes associated with that. And Ryan was checking on that, hasn't heard back yet. So we were talking about, do we leave it at $800, or we kind of do the monthly thing? And I don't know, what was Ryan, did you talk to Jim about moving it up to, once we learn about the real estate taxes, to a higher dollar amount?
Yeah, we were both kind of in agreement to kind of tie everything into the lease price, and I did confirm with the auditor too that, number one, we could do that, and she said that would probably be the easiest for the city and for Meds One to basically combine everything into that lease price by looking at, and Diane and I sat down and looked at the average of what we paid for utilities for that building plus the gas.
Okay.
And especially since it'll be a month-by-month lease, rather than, once it comes to the point where they're 100% in the old fire hall,
Right.
then we can explore the option of putting the utilities into their name. But since both the fire department and Meds One are gonna be essentially sharing both buildings, 50-50 essentially, it just seems at this time to leave everything in the city's name and just increase the lease price.
Okay.
And we haven't got that dollar amount yet. I think
We're just waiting on the real estate tax, and like I said, I called the assessor today and have not heard back from her, but as far as...
Basically, that's just gonna be personal property tax.
Yep.
Not
Yep.
real
Right.
estate tax.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that was the asset purchase, and then the lease is, whatever that dollar amount is, it'll include the rental of the facility, but it's being shared with the Buhl Fire Department, and then it'll be rent and include the utilities. And again, we're doing everything kind of as is, that, if something doesn't work out, don't come back to City of Buhl, what you see is what you get. And then and number 10 of the lease, all improvements that are fixed to the building shall become part of the building. They were talking about doing something with the doors and stuff. So if they spent the money and then came back to Buhl, we're not paying for that. It's just coming back the way it is.
Is there anything in here, Mike, as far as the lessee, if they are going to alter the building at all,
Yeah.
that they would have our
Yeah,
agree to it?
Okay, number 10, lessee shall have no right to make alterations to interior or exterior of any structures located within leased premises or exterior grounds for constructing additional structures without securing lessor's prior written approval, which such approval shall not be unreasonably withhold.
Sure.
So I mean, before they do something, they have to tell you what they want to do, and
And
then
we agree to it,
yeah,
then they
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah.
All right.
And then, so that's kind of the rent, and then as part of the thing, when you convey personal property, there's also going to be a bill of sale, which is just saying City of Buhl, a bill of sale for all the personal property items. And again, that'll be the inventory exhibit. And I think I kind of covered everything. There's a couple, I'll let Ryan, there's a couple of things that have to be kind of acted on with his memo for the day. So any other questions for
Yeah,
me?
Mike, is
or-
this agreement an annual lease, or how? are we
They
doing
wanted to
that?
go month to month.
Oh, okay, a monthly lease.
Yeah.
Okay,
And, you could say for a longer term, but they said, well, we'd still want to be able on 30 days notice or something.
okay,
So,
okay.
Yep. And then there's just a couple of things I need to obviously move this forward. One would be the council directing me to send a letter to the EMSRB, basically letting them know that the license is going to be switching hands effective September 10th. And then the other would be to, obviously, there's been discussion that the city's on-call employees we're given the option to go to Men's One, but to be formal, the city still needs to send a letter that their employment is essentially terminated by the city.
Now, Ryan, when you talked to Meds One, did you discuss the $800 a month plus a portion of the utilities
Yeah.
and the property
Yeah.
tax, and they're good with
Yeah,
all
that was all,
So,
yeah.
pretty much we're in a agreement with them and ready to move on this. So you need a motion,
yep, just the two motions that are on the bottom of the memo. The first being to direct me to send a letter to the EMSRB for the transfer of the license.
Do them separately, please.
could I have that motion?
I'll make a motion that you send a direct letter to EMSRB for the license being transferred on September 10th, 2018.
I'll support that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And the second motion?
I'll make the motion to direct the clerk to send letters of termination to the affected Buhl employees regarding the transition of the ambulance service.
I'll support that.
Does that also need the effective date?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, well, it'd be kind of contingent upon, assuming that it would be contingent that the transfer the assets to Meds One.
So do we hold off on actually sending out those letters?
Well, I think the letter should go out with kind of that condition, contingent upon the actual sale occurring.
Okay,
I mean, it's just give them more, I think they all know, but
with that
Just a
date?
heads up.
yeah, I mean, that we've got a paper trail that we just didn't, do something when they say, well, we didn't know. Well, they're the ones who've got the city of Buhl going in this direction.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Attached is the renewal agreement with IAR, cost of $800 for the renewal. For conversations with the fire chief, they would not allow us to renew this on a monthly basis. Next year, the cost of the service will drop roughly $300.
This is annually.
Yep.
Yeah,
This is an app that we have on our phones that we get pages through, we get messages through for everybody in the department that can see them. It's a pretty helpful app that a lot of departments are using this.
I'll make a motion to approve the IAR renewal agreement.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Water tower cleaning inspection. I asked to have the other two quotes here so you could at least just look at them. But there's quite a price difference in this one. I don't remember who did it the last time. It's been so long. We haven't actually had the work done since 2010, he said.
Fine, well, maybe. McGuire, fine.
He said either of those. One from Oregon, one from Wisconsin, and then this one is from Texas.
I used to do this annually, and
Georgia.
we spend all day draining a tank. They'd wash it, fill it up with, and chlorinate it, and then fill it up, dump it out again, and fill it up again. And would take the city guys all day to go through the process. Well, it took them about 5 minutes to clean the tank because our water's that good.
Right.
So then, and it was $1,500 every year. Well, we said, we're gonna do a 5 or a 7 or a 10.
Yeah.
We'll do this process because,
It isn't necessary,
No.
especially when our water is that clean and it doesn't.
so that's why,
But it's probably due since it's been 8, 10
I think it's
years.
about 8 years now. So it was about 8 to 10 years it should be done, and that's where we're at.
Yeah,
So
and it'll
15,
probably need to be painted inside too,
well, we'll find that out.
right?
Yeah.
Because that's been a long time too.
Usually they epoxy the inside, so.
So,
Anyhow, I so move that we proceed with the water tower cleaning and inspection by
Suez.
Suez.
I'll support that.
All in favor? Opposed, motion carried. Knights of Columbus gambling permit is attached. They conducted their Thanksgiving, this one is for the Thanksgiving and Easter? Or it was from last Easter and now this Thanksgiving, that's what it is.
Well, it's a yearly thing, they've done it for years, and I don't see a problem.
No, it's good for the community.
Yeah,
It's always well attended, lots of people come out for it.
I'll make a motion that we approve the gambling permit for Knights of Columbus.
support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. You're up, John. Attached is the trailer court main project.
Basically, it's just an invoice.
For $379.81.
This ties up our project.
Okay.
Also move that we pay the JPJ invoice number 5 for the trailer court main project of $379.81.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed,
Just
motion
not used to
carried.
seeing the bills that small. That was an easy one to vote for.
He's making a note of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Disc golf quotes, these are quotes for upcoming work. He would like approval on them to be paid on the completion of the projects. These would come out of the grant as well.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we pay the quotes for the disc golf.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Attached is the price and description of the simple game camera. We had a discussion last time about putting game cameras at the disc golf course entrance and at the burn pile and up here at the recycle, the 3 locations that we've had some problems.
Yeah, and basically I did my research on game cameras. I think those would be more than adequate to monitor those locations, and this price with the quality and what you get in it seemed to be the best deal that I found. And I know too, there's been some discussion about security cameras, other places in town, entrances, things like that. And I did reach out to the gentleman who's going to be putting in the new poles for Verizon with those cell nodes. And he has had other cities basically put the cameras into those poles and have the Verizon cells basically act as their base, so you don't have to buy an expensive receiver kind of thing. So if the council wishes to explore more on security cameras, I think that would be the most cost-effective way to go if that's how you guys choose to go.
Yeah, and they're willing to take the expense of wiring these so everything's ready to go.
This would be the cost of the cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be something we'd learn a little bit more when he does his walkthrough in a month or so, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
Pretty good deal.
Well, I'd like to put that portion on hold and move ahead with the game cameras, which was where our discussion originally came from, and at least get those up in the 3 locations that we were looking at. These take how many pictures, Ryan?
It depends what size. I mean, memory cards I think are about $10, and they'll store like 500 images. And I don't believe we have 500 people or deer
No.
running through those.
We'll find out.
You're gonna get how many cameras? 3 or?
I think 3 would be.
Well, 3 of this style.
Yeah.
And the other ones
On
are
3
still.
Yeah.
You look
So
at-
basically down by the lift station, old sewer plant, one up by the brush pile, and then one up by the recycling.
Does this one send pictures right to your phone too, or?
This one does not, but it's easy to pull the memory card and just download it I mean, the difference in price on those is probably add another $100 if you want pictures sent to your phone.
Which, when it comes to the manpower of going up, getting them, restoring, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
We could sure try this though and just see how it goes.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I know Trent and the guys are out at the brush pile and out there every day, so it's 2 minutes going and
Right.
pulling it, so I'm
Sure. Along with getting the game cameras though, I'd like to see us also post signs that say that there is surveillance cameras on these sites. That seems to be as bigger a deterrent. It certainly has helped out at the industrial park. Just letting people know. We'll catch you.
I'll make a motion that we approve Ryan to buy cameras for security.
Well, I'll support that along with, we check into what Brian has to say about these cameras that other towns are installing.
That would be another month, you said then.
yeah, when he comes and does his site walk.
Yeah.
You can
and-
certainly give us more information on that.
Yeah.
See how the council feels, sure. So you're supporting his motion?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Can we also order up some signs that will say surveillance cameras? Like, you know, the same verbiage we have out at the industrial park? Maybe have Ryan bring us back some quotes for getting those signs up at our next meeting?
Or we just have them get them.
Or just have them
Yeah, I
get
would,
Well, I think it's better if you do council action and, you know, it's on record that that's what you want done.
Just make it into a motion and do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that Brian get some signage for these locations too.
Support.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Utility rates, rate study. Ryan's been looking into this. You want to talk to us on this, Ryan? Go ahead.
sure, I mean, through our meetings with the USDA and PFA and just conversations with Diana and others about rate studies and where the city's at with their rates and what these grant applications, you know, require us to do and for qualifying for certain grant dollars versus loan dollars. I mean, we know we need to adjust our rates. And the big question is what to? And yes, something this year, but down the roads for other projects, I mean, we really, from talking to others, they highly recommended having a rate study done for the city to not only give us what we need to do now, but project towards the future. And with that information, I kind of looked around at what others have recommended, whether it would have been the people at the PFA or MMUA, and just kind of let them know what the city was kind of looking at, you know, what we're looking to do with our infrastructure projects in the future. And these were the ones that they recommended to us. And obviously, if you looked at the quotes, a couple of them are $25,000,
Right.
$23,000, which I think is way excessive for a city our size. But one of the gentlemen who was recommended to me by the MMUA, he's done other cities on the range, Keewatin, Grand Rapids, has been doing it for 35 such years, and I've talked to both Keewatin and Grand Rapids, and they're very impressed with the work they've done and the recommendations that he's provided to them. And I think moving forward, especially the money that the city is going to look to invest in the infrastructure, we need to make sure we can afford these projects.
Right.
And I think it's helpful having a third party, you know, come in here and really dig deep into what we're looking at. He'll work with Minnesota Power, he'll work with the sewer district, and just really show and be able to have the information, you know, these are our rates and these are how we need to afford these projects.
Right, and it's also could end up being refundable through the
Yeah,
grant.
it's something that we would obviously roll into our grant applications.
Plus, the monies that will come out initially for it will come out of the electric and
Yeah.
sewer fund.
And I just think it's important that as we look to improve our infrastructure, that we're proactive and we have the necessary funds coming in, so, you know, we're not trying to piece things together every 5-10 years that,
Right.
you know, if something urgent comes up, we have the stability in our enterprise funds to be able to go out and do that.
Through the years, we've
Kinda
always kind
sounded-
of guessed at it, and this way you have experts coming in and gathering all the information so they can make a
Yeah.
pretty good long-range plan on what the city should be looking at, which helps us in our budgeting too.
Well, to apply for a grant, it's kind of like, sound like you need this, to go for USDA.
It's very helpful.
Yeah, no, I agree with what the plan here is. I think, you know, debt management, I think we'll get that out of the study too. So I think that's, you know, the upcoming project going through USDA and PFA, you know, and maybe what the sewer district's doing in the next 2 to 5 years, put that in a formula and come up with a 5-year plan. I think it's a good idea. And I
Yeah.
think Ryan did a good job finding somebody at a reasonable cost to do it too, so
Right,
I think I'd recommend, yeah, that the city proceed with this, yeah.
okay. Thanks, John.
But we'd be using some of his numbers for our application, right?
Right,
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know what his time schedule was, Ryan,
No.
did he give you any type of?
It would be done by the end of the year.
Okay,
I mean,
So
he would come up and spend a couple days in town actually, and,
Gathering the information he needs to put it together.
yeah.
Okay. May I have a motion to accept the rate study?
I'll make a motion to approve the rate study proposal with Dave Berg Consulting.
I'll support that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Well, I'll support that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. This meeting's adjourned.